Hello Nikki, hello Transport Evolved. Yes, James May has bought an i3 Rex and even criticised the name of the range extender, saying it should be called coward mode, which I really like. I disagree with you when you say that you think manufacturers would build EVs without any sort of mandate due to market forces. Because what market forces are there that would make them do that? The green left wing part of society, and I know it's not necessarily all left wing, but let's just say that for the moment, the green left wing part of society isn't big enough, doesn't have enough power at the moment to have the kind of buying potential to make it worthwhile for a business. And yes, we have a few manufacturers that are doing it now, but they're doing it off the back of a history where the cars were made because they were mandated. I think if it was left now and the EV1 had never happened because the Californian rules had never happened, we'd be looking at neighborhood electric vehicles still. And I think that's really where we would be. I think you're right about Formula E and people comparing it to Formula One because there isn't anything else electric out there in terms of racing in this kind of size. And when you think of an iconic race of these type of cars, you do think Formula One. You don't think Formula 2 or Formula 3. I like the idea of a Tesla race series, but why not just make it an open EV race series? So custom built or adapted EVs get to race each other. We already have a bar set, which is pretty much the Tesla Roadster and the Tesla Model S and the Concept 1 of what can be achieved. But what could be achieved with a Leaf if you strip it out, make it lighter, maybe upgrade the motor, upgrade the charger. And if you made it a longish race, you could even build in whether people go with rapid charging, battery swapping, wireless charging, and we'd see all these different technologies competing in what I would call an EV open series. And I think that would be very interesting. Charging networks and their maps and their databases. The problem, I think, is twofold. Firstly, manufacturers don't want to say, and manufacturers of charging stations don't want to say when a charging station is not working. It's not in their interest to do that. They don't want someone looking, especially ministers, because a lot of this comes from government funding, they don't want them looking at the map and going, why is a third of your network offline? That's not a good message. So they just won't report that things are offline because it's not in their interest. And there aren't enough EV drivers to really cause them a problem with complaining at the moment, so they can get away with that. The second part of that is they're not going to say when charging stations no longer exist because, again, it would have to be marked as offline, which isn't good, and it also reduces their number installed by one, and they're not going to like that. The other problem is when it comes to amalgamating it, it's a big data problem. There's so much data from so many different sources, you can't just mash them up, which is why open databases have existed like Open Charge Map, and that's my go-to one. But I have issues with Open Charge Map as well. I believe it has probably been set up the wrong way in the sense that it's not a true wiki, and I believe that's what we really need. We need a wiki, and we can use MediaWiki, which is the CMS that Wikipedia uses, editable by anyone. You could even lock down certain parts of it if you really wanted, but I'd argue that isn't needed. Each entry has a GPS and certain set fields for power and speed. Anyone can edit at any time, and then you just overlay a Google Maps mashup on top of that. What was I going to talk to you about? I want to ask you and Transport Evolved a question. Do we think BMW are Jedis? BMW have managed to downsell, essentially, people to an EV with less range, which people are happy about, and augmented that range with a petrol range extender, which people are happy about. People are glad, and you can see posts on social media, that they've gone from an active E, where everything was 100% electric, which suited their needs, to a range extended Rex, which is burning petrol, and BMW has convinced them that's a good thing, and has even convinced them to start campaigning and start asking for a larger petrol tank. Which blows my mind. We have ex-EV advocates, because they're not EV advocates anymore, asking for a car with a larger petrol range. I will see you tomorrow, Nikki. Goodbye, Nikki. Goodbye, Transport Evolved.